if they do it right now, right? And always be very, very transparent to what you're doing. So don't give them like something and then at the end add on something else. And allow the customers to modify their search or their shopping experience or their anything they search. For example, here we got this. You have the search, and then if you pay now, this is how much it's. I think this is not clear, but it tells you you save $6 or something if you pay right now, right? And then here it gives you other options. You want a GPS navigation, and it tells how much it is per day. It's right there, so it exactly tells you what how much, and then your protections and coverages are right here. So it gives you all of them right there for you. And then one thing you got to do is people, you need to push people to buy stuff. You need to create the sense of urgency. You either say like there's only limited rooms available if it's a store, or if it's something that you're trying to sell, there's only like 4 available. But that should be real. It shouldn't be like you for everything you have to show only 4 available or 1 available. You should show like the items, highlight the items, and then you should also show what they can save if they do it right now. Okay, and what other people are thinking. Like for example, you know, like you want to also limit the tabs. Don't do too many tabs for people to select. Give them immediate access when this is where you can show like it shows new arrivals, women's, and it says like tops, jeans, and so you don't have to go through tabs. You just have everything right there. They can click and they will see everything. And then you should show all the thumbnails. Don't show list. People wants to see pictures. So when you show the picture, then they will know that that's the style they want. Because people that might not understand what is tank top, or maybe the definitions of it, a lot of people don't understand. So one of the reason is the shopping experience, the whole web is not localized anymore. It's international, it's global. So what you say is totally different from what you for other people. For example, when I came here, they said, "Do you want a biscuit?" And for biscuit in India or in Britain, it means a cookie. So I said a biscuit. They gave like all this bread with chicken in it. So that's a shocking thing. So I said, "What? This is a sandwich. You think it's a sandwich?" So it means different things for different. So if you show it and say biscuit, then I said that's not a biscuit. So even now at home we talk. I say biscuit. My kids say cookie. So we need to make sure people understand. So that's only through visuals we can do. And always include guest reviews. People need to know the reviews. So what people have seen is that there is a huge increase in conversion rate if you give a lot of details and quickly show them the details. And one of those is Expedia. If you go to Expedia, if you click on a hotel, they immediately have what are the amenities of the hotel, what are the different rooms, and they show the pictures if you see here. And then they also have the ratings, and then they immediately have reviews below it. So that gives you a quick way to take the decision, and the conversion rate from this page is 2.828% increase in conversion. They have seen that by just doing that one particular thing. And then you always at the end, when they made up their mind they want, you remove all the distractions they can have. Don't have again buy now and choose this. Just let them buy what they're interested in now, what they're focused on. So don't give anything else. Just only show about what they're trying to buy now. And after they're done, then you can give them, do you want to get more? But you remove all this and also always streamline the checkout. The checkout is the most important way. And if you have seen most of the e-commerce sites that we have seen and we have tracked, 40% of the people leave at checkout. That means there's something wrong at the checkout. And one of the best examples that have done very well is Amazon. You have one-click checkout. You just click once, that's it. You don't have another choice. It's already done.
You don't have to submit and
Submit
do all
everything
those
one click
extra
and you're
things.
in there and you're done. So that their conversion rate has increased by 40% just by using that one. And they're more than $1 billion company now. They're a multi-billion dollar company. And just imagine the conversion rate increasing by 1% is how many millions for them. So you should always think about, okay, don't eliminate, you can upsell, but don't try to do it right away. Just give them enough to first get something what they need and then try to upsell. Always give them a reason for them to be there, and give them why they need to buy. What are the different things, like what is the privacy policies, what is the returns, what's the contact number. So you're creating the credibility. You're not trying to push them, okay, buy, but you're saying that you have a problem, this is the number, and everything you're giving right there. And this is one thing you really need to remember for people to be for the stickiness. So you should focus on increasing, not on the amount of time they're on the site. It's all about creating a user experience, making it easy for users to accomplish what you want them to do, and what the purpose of the site is. Always be original and authentic to the value you are providing. So don't copy. Most of the clients I see, they'll say, "This is what we like," and they share a competitor side. So now you're behind the company. You're never innovating. So you're not, because you don't know your own value. You need to think about what is the best value that you are providing to your customers, and who are your customers. And don't try to be everywhere. You just be where your customers you think are, and potential customers are going to be. And be transparent about what you're offering. Don't try to say like, this is what we're going to offer, and when you click, it's totally different. A lot of people do that, and there's a lot of fine line things. So people like to be transparent, and then once they see that you're credible, they always click on your site and come back and do business. This is what. And first I said how you want to stay on the site, but then this is how you want to create a content for the site. So it's called creating adaptive content. You need to put a lot of effort in creating content. A lot of people put a lot of effort in designing the website. Okay, it's not just the design of the website, it is the content that's on the website that's most important. And right now, website content is just one piece of the puzzle, because the same content needs to be used in your social media, in your mobile sites, because you got to have a mobile strategy. It's not about, do you want a mobile site? You have like, what kind of mobile site I need? What is my mobile strategy? Whether I need an app. A lot of people now go and say, an app. They actually really don't need an app, because if, for example, my company, we do software development and web development. Who's going to download my app? There's nothing that we're going to provide them on an everyday basis. So we might want to give them a mobile site when they're on mobile file and want to check our site. Maybe we'll give them what are our services, what are the different things that they can think about. But there's no reason for me to build an app, because nobody's going to download it except for me and my friends and relatives, right? Because it's cool. Because you have millions of apps, and the reason why you download an app, if you think about it, either they're a tool for you on an everyday thing that you are using, or something that you want to see on an everyday basis or a very regular basis. And I don't expect anybody to come to my website regular basis. Even I don't see my own website. It's not my homepage or anything. I mean, there is no reason for me to see my website. The more you see your website, you want to change it. But other people don't. They like your website. I mean, if you see and you'll think, oh, it's been too old, now let me change. Just like your home, you want to change the sofa, you want to change your color or something because it's getting too old. But somebody that's coming visitor, if they find, wow, your house is good, your sofas are good, but you look at it lot of times you want to change, but that's not the reason you want to change. You want to change your website if there's a functionality, if there's something that's missing that for the user, not for you. So the strategy is to create once. So whenever you create content, think about all the different aspects, your microsites, your blogs, your intranet, right, your email. So we did a strategy for leadership members. So there's a huge backend. We create a lot of content we're creating, but the same content goes in like probably about 5 of the different channels. So they enter at one place, but it breaks down into like the social media, the backend for their office administration, the how much we paid and what are the different things the people like, what are the different organizations they are. But on the user side, I'm not giving the profile all the detailed information. For leadership member staff, they need that so that they can make more decisions. They can run reports of people that are interested in, for example, education. If they want to put a team together, they'll immediately know who are the people that have been through this program that I can call. So there's content you need to think about all the way through how the content can, from a Twitter to the backend. Twitter is the smallest content you can produce, and then you have like the back end and for the web and the largest format you have, and then the print. So you have to be consistent.
So question. So is that a software application that you've developed for Leadership Memphis?
Yeah.
To connect all of those points?
Yeah.
Okay,
So
gotcha.
we create our software, the CMS.
Whereas for
everybody-
me, I'm doing that manually.
Yeah.
Okay,
So I mean,
so I can
it
do the
depends
same
on
thing,
the
but
size, right? So a small business can do it manually. But if they have time, if they don't have time, they need a software. They think, okay, we are a small business, we can do manually. No, you don't. You are the one doing everything. So you actually need more automation than a huge company like Hilton, because Hilton has almost like every 2-3 hotels, they have one social manager, brand manager. So one person will just look after 3 hotels. So
And that's all they do.
That's all they do.
Well,
Right? They're
and
not
see,
cared
that would-
about raising money or room rents, or if their salespeople are going and selling to the corporate. They don't care. All it is only one thing, and that's developing content for the day. So that's where you need to use. So the adaptive content means the content that you can take one content, adapt to your print, your web, your social media channels, your blog, or Twitter's, everything. So that's what adapt. Even the messaging could be for audio visual, so to radio messaging. So they're all consistent. If you develop one content, it should go to everything. So what is the future adaptive content would look like? It should be very, very flexible. The content should be flexible. It should be structured. So it should be agile. When in software, a lot of people talk about agile. Agile methodology is what, as you grow, you get the feedback and you develop, you redo it, or you enhance what you have. You're not waiting until you're done with something to get a feedback. You're getting very, very frequent feedbacks in order to get a better product out, a quick way to get a product out. Now, marketing is getting this buzzword, agile marketing. You should be hearing about marketing. Previously, like traditional marketing is, you have a marketing budget for 1 year, let's say $1 million. I'm going to do 5 events. And when you finish the event one, you don't go back and get the feedback and see what has worked, what didn't work. You just take that feedback, you just keep it in a folder, and you go to the next event. And you just do it the way you used to do and get the feedback. End of the year, you see all of this. You should have seen it the very first event and taken that feedback and implemented in the next event, even though they're not related, but you get the feedback about the event. So they don't do that. They just do, and then the end of the year they'll do, oh, now we need to change. By the time you lost all these people that asked you to do certain things and you have never done, which is very easy you could have done it. So that's what the future is all about, being agile. Within agile methodology, within the software, we have a new methodology that we used for startup companies, which is because of their less budget and time crunch they have to go to the market. We call it Scrum. Scrum methodology is where you have to almost have meetings every day. So we have 2 companies we work with. We have a 5 o'clock early in the morning call and a 6 o'clock call, two different companies. The whole team is on the call in 2 different countries. So US, India, and we have in Britain. So they're all on the call, and the technology is so everybody sees each other. We do Skype. So we teach. We also have where they can see our pages, our code. We talk, and the team says, and they assign tasks in the morning. So every day a team gets assigned a task, which might be we call it sprint. You do one sprint, and sprint could be a day or few hours. And then the teams is not like they know that what they need to do for the next 1 month. They don't know. They know every day what they need to do. It's so quick and so much quick feedback that they get from the client. It works more on the startups, because startup companies, the people that have the idea, they don't have really any other work, right? This is their idea, so they want to get it done. So they can spend that much time. But a small business doesn't. They want to do a web and everything. They're not going to spend every 2 hours a day doing it. For them, it's agile is where like you can, the methodology is more, if it's a weekly or like 4 days, 5 days, depends on how quick you want to release a product. So that's what you need to think about. You don't think traditional, think about how, and then all this can be automated. That's what you streamline your process. You automate your process. How much can you automate? Automation really takes money. On how much can you automate and why you should automate. And you should have a roadmap, even as a small business. When I started, my wife and I started from our house. She left St. Jude and she doesn't want to spend less money than what we were used to, right? So your lifestyle, when it goes up, it cannot come down. Right? So we said, okay, what's the other alternative? Right? We have the kids, they're at home, so okay, let's start our own company. And so we just compensated a little bit. We used to get money, and then we had a growth plan. Okay, 1 year where we want to be. If we reach $50,000, we want to hire a couple of people. If we want 100,000, so now we are 65 people.
Wow, that's amazing.
So and
So
and
that's
we,
how eBiz Solutions got started?
yeah,
Was you and your wife?
yeah. So
Have you written
and
your
one of the
book
reasons why
yet?
we started the eBiz solutions is
read your
because the
book.
tax credits we're getting. If you do it on your personal
Yeah.
checks, you can't really get taxed. With
Yeah.
once you have an LLC or something, you can cut your mileage, you can cut some of your eating outside with clients and all. So you can take them. It's easy to show to the taxes. But if you can do it within your own thing, but it takes a lot of taxing to do which one is what, and this is you have two separate things. And we are still lean mean. We always, even though we are 65, we work as a startup company. We don't spend anything more than we have supposed to spend. And we always try to limit. And that's what we try to preach to small companies. Don't try to get, like a lot of companies will say, once they get the money, they'll hire people and then they'll, I have a friend, he had a company and I always work for him. They are a print media and all. And I saw him once, he had 10 people. He said, he had a printing machine, he had all this. And then 1 year, he's in bankruptcy because he thought he's going to get all this business. I mean, I don't you outsource as much as possible because you can cut it off so quickly, right? You don't have to worry about taking the cutting off a client of a employee because it takes once or twice. You need to rethink, and you would take a hit on your profit because you don't want to cut somebody off. But it's a contract with a contractor. I mean, the contract up, you're gone. There's no hard feeling there and you'll the big thing in any company is the number of people, right? The first thing your company is getting lost, what they do is cut people because they are the most expensive in a company profit. That's why you see AT&T cuts like 10,000 people so that the investors they want profits because their investment always the stocks have to grow, so they have to cut the cost. So the way we tell and the startup companies we build, I always go and do startup companies. I was just telling Don is we go into disruptive markets where we can disrupt an existing methodology, existing system. We want to disrupt that market. That's where you get a lot of people. People that cannot afford something, we go into that market giving them that service. Then they can go in. Like for example, one of the big things we're going to come out is going to be market research for small business, which
For
cannot
what?
have
I'm sorry.
market research. So you
For
want
what
to, for
business?
example, you want to start a boutique in Memphis. Do you know like how many people
Yeah.
buy in boutique? Do you know how many people like brand? Do you know? You don't know, but you want to hire a marketing research company. It would cost you an arm and leg. But we are trying to crowdsource it. So you put your request into a system, and there's so many market research companies around the world, right? They have all the data for what you're looking for, and they're not getting all the business. They're going to compete with other companies saying that, okay, I will provide, and you will pick the ones least, or you'll say with the highest. But we are leveraging this with universities. So we're going to have exclusivity with Harvard and Cornell. And so the people I'm working with are graduates of Harvard and Cornell and all. So we're getting that exclusivity of them. So that's so you can afford something that only Hilton or FedEx or some they can afford. But now you can. That's the disruption. The competitive advantage. We're taking the competitive advantage of people. So we work in those kind of that. That's the kind of things I want. Like innovation is where it's not innovating existing things. Innovating the innovation. I work on companies are different innovations. Existing companies are the fast growth companies. They grow very fast. The staff is equipped with delivering things. They're not more in innovative mode anymore. They want to be, but they don't have time. The staff doesn't have time to give. They're quick. They have this. They have to give stuff then because new companies are coming in or they are growing so fast. They just don't have time. So they bring in people like us. We step back and we see how they're growing and say, this is how we need to get in, and this is how you need to process your stuff. So that's how you need to think about your company. You have to think about you're one today, but you can become 10 very quickly. But are you ready to become 10? How do you manage the growth? So you have to have systems in place. We have people all around the world that we work with. I have designers in Russia, in Bolivia, and all, but we all work on one system. They don't even know the language sometimes. The Russians really can't speak English, right? So in India and here we all speak English. So in Bolivia also it's very difficult, but I can see the work and I can tell exactly there. But also you need to think about the language translations. We work with companies. We just did one company. It's 13 different languages. A content management system that can do 13 different languages. So the content channels, when you create a content, these are all the channels you need to think about. And this is how the content. So most of the companies, if you go and when you go into the website, all you see in that room are marketing. And that's the last thing you ever want. That's the really an unsuccessful business. They're going to go down because marketing knows how to message something, but their operations department or their or IT department, they should be part of this because they know what they really want. Marketing is all making it nice, but if you don't know what you really want, they really can't. So I always go into a place and I always ask, can you bring in your other people? Can I talk to them? Because then I can make the right decision because you can create a greatest website and then after some time they'll come and say it's not working. It would not surely work because you really your people really don't know what you want. Your marketing people is wanting this, right? Let's say the financial person will say, I need to cut costs, and if you talk to CFOs, anything you go and ask them, the first answer is no. So it's very, very difficult to give your, okay, this is why we need. For that, you need to do a lot of stuff. You need to really tell what you will. That's what you really, marketing is like, oh, give me 1 million, we'll do it. And they don't know whether they can do it or not. But you need to prove. So you need to have all these players in one place. And they all talk together. Then it's more of innovation. Then they come up with innovative. So the CFO will tell you it has to happen within $500,000. And marketing will ask for $1 million. And how do you do that? The operations is this is what we need to sell. This is our product. So then we'll say, okay, how do you make this product into a different market so that we can get that many sales and we can brand that and we can sell it. So you can always sell. So marketing looks at one thing and says, this is how I want to sell. But once you go into engineering and those people will say, oh, we can remarket this one, we can rebrand it, or we can change it a little bit. If you go to Starbucks, you will see the difference. If you ask for a tall latte, it's not full cup anymore. It's only this much. It's foam there. I mean, when you hold it, you will realize that it was not. But they probably save about like 1 million a day on just of that. But also Starbucks saves more than $10 million on their cups, caps on the cups. If you go to Starbucks, every size has one cup, one size cap, the top cap. If you go to Burger King or any other retail, the big cup is this big size. So the person that's manufacturing is actually, you're paying more money for them, a different mold. Here it's only one, as everything. So they're cutting that 1 cent or half a cent, but in millions and billions, you're saving that much money.
It's kind of like the grocery stores are keeping on. The price is still the same, but you're getting less of the product.
Right.
Exactly. So
And
Everybody's
they're
doing
making
that.
tons of money. Even those Rice Krispies. They're like they should be this much, now they're this much.
Oh yeah.
So-
Coke and Pepsi have
But
now
a
gone to a
lot-
smaller can. Not
Yeah.
not that can, but the smaller
The
can.
resin costs more, when gas prices go up, the resin costs more, and that costs more to make that package, so they offset it by putting less of that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing how you think. You know, you don't realize it at first on
Yeah.
a lot of things, but a lot of them is just a tad. But
That's
I mean,
tough.
it's
That's what we
and they're
need to
hoping
do.
nobody notices.
Yeah,
I think.
exactly. So we need to really think through like that. In a small business or large business, people have to think like what is it really we want? How do we want without people? You're not really, you're telling them upfront, but you need to rethink about how you provide your services or your goods to people, how you can repackage them and sell them, right? So that's the critical thing. So, and then one of the things for the content is when you create content, you need to think about different things up front. How do you want to relate? So this is a content management system. So it has like your title, your subtitle, and it has a teaser. You had a mini teaser. So the mini teaser is probably for the Twitter or for the Facebook. Your teaser could be for your blog or for your on your website, a small blog that just says teaser that takes you to the main article or the main information about it. And also when it should be displayed. What are the different things? People don't think. So they're going off the shelf. They'll say, "Oh, I'll buy a Groupon, or I'll get a WordPress, and it does everything." It really doesn't do anything. They are thinking generic. If you think your company is generic, use it. But if you think your company is different and it is specific, you will have a totally different approach to your whole online or your business model than your competitor. So that's what you need to think. So how do you make, first you need to sit down and think about, I don't know if you ever know about a thing called business model generation. There's a business model canvas. If you can fill that out, I meet at least a couple of people that they think they're next Google every week. And they'll become next Google.
Oh, oh
Okay,
yes.
people think
Okay,
that
yeah.
they can
They got an idea they think they're
They,
gonna do
yeah,
it,
they
yeah.
think their idea is the best in the world. So they'll give their idea and they'll say, "Oh, I need to sign an NDA." And I said, "Listen," I tell them like, "Listen, I listen to ideas millions, okay, and if I can implement it, I can, but I don't care your idea. First, I need to like it even before I can even go to the next step." So I'll give them a small homework. Okay, yeah, I like your idea. Right, it's great. Just fill this canvas and come next time. And I've seen 60% of them don't even email or call me back. It's not easy to do a startup company. People Google have done become billion like overnight. They have done hard work for 10 years before. We knew about Google. Facebook was from 2001 and people heard in 2006. Right? They struggle. It's a struggle for that many years. Can you do it? A lot of these people are 15 years, 16 years, 17 years, 20 years old people. They think, "Oh, we know. That's why I tell them like you always get, if you want to really do a real good company, have that young people that has all these ideas without responsibility, thinking through with like 40 years like me, right? I'll give them the real picture, and you have the right discussion. They can say what you're saying is wrong, but you need to have that discussion because we are on more cautious side. They're more on like, "Hey, I don't care. People will buy." No, they're not going to buy. But if they can convince me, I can get it done.
And it's amazing how much of it falls apart when they put it on paper.
Yeah.
Immediately. I know I've consulted a lot.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the biggest challenge is the team itself. They don't stick around for a long time. If they don't see results in 6 months, they're on their own way. So
Did you just say that you send them something to complete a form or something,
it's,
just
it's,
sort of an
it's called
overview
Business
or
Model Canvas. It's a book.
Canvas?
Canvas. And it's a
Okay.
book called Business Model Generation.
Uh-huh.
A lot of Fortune companies are using that. How many of you has ever looked back into your strategic plan in your company? I never see. I just look at it and that's it.
I don't have
But-
one on paper.
Yeah.
That's why it's not going to fall apart.
Yeah. So this is a
It's in
visual.
Beverly's world.
You're taking that strategic plan and putting it into a visual thing,
Yeah.
where it will start with what's the value we are delivering to the client, and who are our clients, right? And what is the customer service we are providing to that client? What are the different channels we are providing this value to the client?
And what
Right.
sets you aside from all the others.
Yeah, so
Same
that's the
type.
value proposition, right? You're talking about, and all this what I talk, the value you're providing the customer base, and then the customer service and the channels are going to be your revenue generators. So then you'll say all this, how much I'm getting, and then I will send that to you. I can mail it to you all.
Yeah,
And-
I see it.
And on the left side of that is what are the activities you need to do in order to provide this value.
This is the canvas that
Yeah.
you're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay, and
Mhm.
this is something you created from
No. Somebody
research that
could
somebody
use
else
it.
did?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And
Okay.
last week we did the huge thing. It's like a poster. We create a big poster and we write on it.
Uh-huh.
And then on the left, you have the activities that needs to happen. So for example, if I want to create like another Expedia, your platform is the most important thing, building the platform. So all your money goes into the platform. That means the resources are all technology resources, the technology hardware that needs to go with that. And also key partners you need to. For Expedia, the partners are like dentals and all the hotel chains, everybody. So they need to have a system that automatically integrates. Nobody's going to sit there and look at Hilton hotel rates and they'll put it in here.
But
The
and so
system.
this is something that if this is something that you do.
Yeah.
You might work with companies that to take them through that base foundation, and then from there their internet strategy and their
Everything.
whole
So
everything
that's
is
there
developed
for them.
from the canvas.
I'm
So that's
actually
something
have,
that you do that
yeah.
with all types of
Most of the
companies
small,
or
from a
internet
small
companies?
mom and pop to
Okay.
a fortune companies we do. So it's the same. Everybody needs to grow in the same way. It's the scale is different. You have $5,000 and they have $5 million to play with. That's the only difference. The scale is different, but the model is same. The process is same. So what on the left you also have all the things that would give you cost. So your cost and your price are there. Then it says whether it really makes any sense for you to build this company. Right? So if it doesn't work, then you don't even need to go to like a prototyping model because you know that it's not going to work. If people are not willing to pay $10 or $1, for example, apps, right? You put for 99 cents and probably you will build for like 10,000 to get it built. And if you think your app is worth and there's 1 million downloads, you get $500,000 because half of it goes to Apple, right? That's worth. But can you think that you can build 10,000, like 1 million downloads? Even that's a small games at a very low cost price. They put because it's the mass. A million people downloading it, quick, just to look at it, how it works. 99 cents is nothing. That's why music industry is making more money, more than selling an album than selling one song. Because 99 cents per song.
Yeah.
Instead of if you are doing $15 for how many people will download? None of the students will do it. They might like one or two songs. They're just $2 in downloading. They're making more money. So you need to think business in that terms and how you want to package your product for different audience, right? And I still have people that wants to buy the CDs, the whole album, and they want to have that. It has like I'm not that. So this is adaptive content, right? So the adaptive content consists of so many different things. This is where you build. This is how we build platforms. CSS is cascading style sheets, which is how the display will look, how the things will look on a mobile site or on a blog or on a website on a iPad or those things. Content strategy is how you are going to develop your content. That requires totally different group of people, content strategy. And then CMS is all the technology, right? How do you build the content management system itself? How that the system should look, how easy it is. So that's the data model, how the data should work. All of them to get together is adaptive content. If you don't get all of them together, there's no. So the content strategy is more like the marketing people and the PR and all, the CSS and all the designers, right? The more like the look and feel and what you want, the experience kind of. You call UX. If you must have seen in web, they call UX. It's user experience. It's called UX. That's
What is
the kind of
content wrangling?
content wrangling is you take the content and you make it into different pieces, bits and pieces for different things.
Respin it?
Variations.
Okay.
So for Twitter, you can come up with one quick sentence, but for a teaser in an ad that you're pushing onto TV or somewhere, that's another. It's the same content. And then the data model is how do you build this? I showed you one screen, right? How you can build. So this screen, that's the data model. How you create the data? How do you enter the data? How do you fix the data? What are the keywords? What are the different things you want to use? And that depends on different companies. So If somebody takes a WordPress and uses it for a newspaper versus somebody that's running a retail store, how can you really think both the companies alike, except for the process? The data is totally different. The data mining capabilities need to be different, right? They're more publishing, and so that's more different way than person that trying to sell cups or trying to sell clothes. So these are all good tools. They're real. WordPress are not very. You think they're very easy to use. They're not really. You can get complicated. And in the out of the box, WordPress is the only one that's very easy to use. Then Drupal or Joomla or something that they think it's very easy, but I mean the developers would get stuck in those content management. And content distribution, you need to have content distribution strategy. So this is, for example, you see, this is on the paper, academic link to whatever that. Here, see, academic links. All they had is just a picture, but it's all coming from one source at the back end. And they're saying that if this is the front end, this is how I want to display the data. If this is where I need to send to a PDF file, this is how I'm going to send it. If it's the web, I'm going to send it in a different format. They all have to think about how we wanted to pull this data back to the systems. So that's the key.
So you can take one photo and 10 different newspaper companies, and they'll write different stories on different pictures.
Yeah, same thing. So you need to give them that content. So you need to put somewhere that they can pick which content they want. It also, the content depends on not only the sources, but also devices. If you are seeing a CNN on your phone, the same headline will look different than that's on your
website.
computer. So that's how you want to differentiate.
Okay.
And then if you just take another kind of device, you put
Like the iPad, or the computer, or the regular newspaper, they're all different. All the same story, but they're all
On
in
your
a
phone, it
different.
has to operate.
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, got it.
So flexible content is your winner. That's the end for today. And if your content is flexible, you are a winner because you're going to save time. You're going to push content quickly because it's putting how quickly you can push your content than your competitor or somebody. Your content is up there quickly than anybody else, then you're the winner. But for that, you need to be prepared how to create the content first. So you can push quickly, and out. So it's not number of people, it's how you strategize the whole thing before you develop.
Small business, they don't have the time to come up with all that.
I tell small business they have to spend money
They have.
they have to be successful. I mean, we spend money for us to be successful. We hired people now we have people for just managing 3 to 4 projects only. Because I can't manage all projects, I can't do everything. But we grow to 65 people without one single salesperson. We don't have salespeople.
Well, how did you develop that original growth plan?
So
Did you
initially we
use it
started, people look at us
like you
look
and
at-
your wife?
Yeah, they
you
look
and your
at
wife.
us
How did
experts
you?
in that area, right?
His wife.
So yeah, my wife and I started the company. She owns 90%, I own 10%, but I do 90% of the work.
But how did, but how
She did quite well on that one.
but how did you organize your thoughts initially from the very beginning? Did you use some sort of book, or you just kind of started throwing things on paper?
No, first,
or how
the
you,
one thing we are both in technology, but we have our own strengths. I'm more in a strategic, because my background is I have a computer science, city planning degree in architecture.
Uh-huh.
So I have the architecture is more like you are a detailed person. I'm an artist too, so I'm very, very visual. If something is not right, because my brother runs my company back in India, he's not at all visual. He's a great programming and he has his architect. And he sometimes, oh, look at this. I'm like, I don't even want to see it. This is ugly, but for him, it looks but his mind, he thinks, if you click this, this is happening.
right.
But for me, I said, that's the user experience.
Most
So-
programmers
It's
are
unusual,
more
isn't
of
it?
very detailed,
Yeah,
and they can't
yeah.
see the prettiness
Yeah.
that
I mean, he
brings
showed
the
me
people
once,
to
he said, oh,
you.
you can select your rooms and it shows which ones are filled and it has a fluorescent green in it.
That's
I
funny.
said,
Yeah.
I mean,
I
I
used to
hate
work for a
fluorescent
bunch
colors on
of-
the web. I mean,
Yeah.
so they don't have that eye.
But
So
did you balance
it's-
each other?
What's it?
you two balance each other because
Yeah,
you have
yeah.
different.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
did you
Well,
use the business canvas that you're
I
using
didn't
with
when
other
we
people
started.
when you started?
There's no business canvas,
Okay.
but I exactly did the same way because
Okay.
I'm more visual person.
Okay.
And then I don't write.
Mhm.
I cannot write.
Now does
You
your
don't write
wife
code
write?
at all?
No, I write code, but code is like
Okay.
only a few sentences. I cannot
Yeah.
write stories like business.
Yeah, he doesn't write the
cards.
content.
If somebody
that goes out
asks
there.
me, okay, write your, so a lot of times people ask me, send me your bio. It takes me forever.
Yeah.
Because I just didn't know how to write. I don't like, I can, also I don't read, I never used to read any books. I only read comics. Because they're visual and they're little bit, couple of two sentences and they're quick. Right?
That sounds like my son.
That is
But
funny.
when I read books,
Uh-huh.
I look at the contents and say
Uh-huh.
which one I really want to read. I go to the things and read books.
Mhm.
That's it. Even from the small, when I was a kid, from my school books, everything I did. I never read anything full book till now.
Mhm.
But I read books, a lot of books now, more
Mhm.
on pertaining to entrepreneurship, on technology, those kind of things
Right.
I read, on leadership and
Mhm.
things. But even that I skim through very fast.
Mhm.
So
So does your wife write? Does she write?
yeah, she writes and
She
she
likes
does.
to
She's
write.
more now. We took like since at home, the same business is not good idea, right? So we broke our expertise. So I'm more on the technology, architecture,
Mhm.
and strategy. She's more on like social media, not social media, SEO. We don't do social media. We don't implement social media at all. We give a strategy, which is that's what I
Okay.
like to do.
Mhm.
And the company we have in India, they can't implement social media because the culture is different.
Mhm.
So you can't just say something that you think is right there. It might not be right here,
Right.
Right.
right? So it's there's one comedian called Russell Peters. You need to hear. He talks about all the cultures. His whole thing is about cultures.
Mhm.
So if you
That's
say
funny.
something, a lot of people, Americans, put names of their kids, city names, like Madison,
Uh-huh.
Oh,
Uh-huh.
they name their kid.
right?
Yeah. Or
Uh-huh.
after cars.
Of the cars,
Uh-huh.
Yes.
or
Yes.
months,
Lexus.
April,
Yeah, Mercedes.
Mercedes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also like
Mountain
June,
tops.
April. You
Yeah.
can't do that in India. It sounds so funny.
Yeah.
And some of the names in India doesn't sound good here,
Yeah.
right? So you need to just think the context, the
Mhm.
culture. So they can't do it. So that's why we said we're not doing it. And I can't hire people here.
Mhm.
So I look for freelance people that some clients will ask me, okay, can you do social media strategy? We'll do strategy. So who can you implement? I can. Then I'll find for people that I know that I can say, hey, these are the people you can go and work with. So there's more, should be more context based.
So you.
So,
Sorry. Go ahead.
so that's how we started. And we had like, I developed a sheet that says like, as we grow, as we financials, right? It's all about finance for us. At the end of the day, it's maximizing the profit. As the profit is increasing, this is where we spend. The first step of spending would decrease the profitability a little bit because we're going to spend a little
Yeah.
bit more. But we'll say in 3 months that has to bring
stair
add
step.
more to this profit. If it not, that's gone.
Yeah.
So that you don't want to invest in a permanent employee or permanent person. You want to invest in a freelancer or somebody. So we bring that kind of person as a freelancer first. And then we say, oh, that's working, then they'll be getting it full time.
Could you tell the client,
Start out.
yes, I can do that, and then farm it out,
That's
and
what I
they
do.
don't need to know?
We really don't do that because I don't want, like, we have a very credible company. People know that we are very trustworthy. So now I don't know if somebody that's going to be that trustworthy. We bring in, but we also have the, so for example, when we wanted to do iPhone apps, everybody's doing iPhone apps. We did. We got 2 people to develop iPhone apps and we made them sit in our office. We hired them. We know there's a potential, so we don't have to rethink about it. 3 months. They were just doing some stuff and we're just reviewing, making sure they work right. And then we went and said we can do iPhone apps. Now we know that we can do it. And Android was easy. We already had our own staff that went and did the Android. And then we always, our whole staff, the strategy for our whole staff is every week they have to come up with a new idea. Like if you are developing in one, I want you to see our end of the year review is not how much work they've done, how creative they are, how innovative they are. If you prove me that what the existing way we are doing is wrong, not wrong, it's we can enhance or efficient, be more efficient, you will get more bonus than we give them a lot of bonuses. In
Yeah.
India, there's a lot of bonuses, totally different. You take them to 5-star hotels, you give them to trip to some country, things like that. And bonus should always be right away.
Yeah.
If they're, for example, sometimes they're there like Saturday, Sunday. Within our offices, we have break rooms. They can sleep. They eat. We provide lunch. We provide dinner for them. The company money. We provide everything for them. And once they really do like Saturday, Sunday, Monday they'll get a check, so they can go and enjoy. Not the end of the month we will
We
go
want
and give them.
immediate gratification.
Then they feel happy.
The microwave
you-
generation.
But you choose, you evaluate those ideas. You don't implement all the ideas.
No, we also have a test group.
Yeah.
So that's where they implement. They implement and show us, okay, this is right, this is good,
Yeah.
this is what.
So- Before you
they're
pop
there
out
on a
there.
trial basis to see if they can pull it off.
Yeah, if they put it off, we will implement into our production.
Exactly.
If they don't,
Make it to stay.
yeah. So we have a lot of companies do that. For example, FedEx does a lot of that. But most of the FedEx, what they do is they put it on the shelf. They don't commercialize it. If they don't use it, they'll just put it on the shelf. So we try to get in and take those commercial their products and commercialize it. And we are now getting into the launch Memphis. We go in and we try to do that. We find projects that we think we can commercialize and then split money. So there's different ways. So you got to be that kind of innovation. Every company has to be innovative, whether it's a clothing company, whether it's a company that just only sells pen. You got to innovate yourself. You got to think about what does it make. Especially the best innovative companies are toy manufacturers. They bring in when cars come out. They make cars, the same cars, in 1,000 different types.
Make it different
Right?
colors.
It's product innovation. So your kids want their toothbrush, their toothpaste, their clothes, right? Their shoes, everything cars. And cars come out. That's how they make the quick money. They know it's only a time. They can do that for 3 months or 4 months, and then new thing comes out.
Yeah.
So they know how quickly they have to turn it
And
around.
electronic games.
Yeah. So
Oh yeah,
it's the-
Beaches, one of our resorts that we sell, they do with the Xboxes, they try out all the games at the Beaches resorts to kind of get the feel of what the kids are really trying to play, and then they're able to go back and make changes before it ever hits the shelf.
How fun a job is that?
It's the kids that go and stay at the hotels, but they are kind of like their little beta testers.
Even
So,
food industry, in and out
Yeah.
items
mhm,
with the main characters,
mhm.
It's gotta, yeah.
you know?
Well, do
Craft
you
is big.
you help people then clarify their strategy or
Yeah.
clarify their idea? So that's one help.
Yeah.
And then I would say too that like I was at First Tennessee for a number of years, and companies like that tend to stifle creativity when they say, "Oh, put all your ideas, submit your ideas. We'll get, we're gonna award the top 3 best ideas." And 9 months later, you might find out that, that was a great idea, but it's not good for us today. And so you have, I think part of the thought process for any business is once you, figure out what's like the instant gratification is important in some environments and most environments, but also being able to create this excitement within your
See, the
team
reason,
and
one of
retain
the
it.
reasons, you see, for example, if you have seen Apple or if you have seen Microsoft, the difference, right? Microsoft was an innovation, right? It's an innovative company. During the years, they forgot the innovation, and they became like a corporate structure.
Yeah.
Apple is always innovative. They always been innovative, and they went bankrupt. Then Steve Jobs came in, and his process innovation. But he's not only innovation, but he's very detail oriented. He has broken more than 1,000 iPhones before the first iPhone got out. He wanted to be so clean and detail oriented. They even though they're a big company, they still work as a startup company, right? Not in terms of finance, but in terms of every other aspect of it. They're so detailed, they're so thorough, and they want to work. So they say, so when we get this out, there's nobody can beat this. And Microsoft lost that in the years. They became too big. And so you always have to have an innovation team that's not, and then what happens, they have innovation labs, but they pull in a person that used to be a great director in implementation, they put him on in charge of that. Those kind of people, their mentality is to get things done. But in innovation, you might fail more times than you might succeed. So the mindset is totally different of
Yeah.
innovative people.
That's true.
And and then the way you give their salaries or incentives are different. You give the incentives by not how successful they are, how they have learned. The learning is increasing. If they're learning and they learn and do something, that's how you incentivize them. So that's the reason why a lot of companies fail in their innovation. Even for example, Ford failed in innovation, and that's where they went where they were. So, and for example, like Toyotas or Hondas and all the Japanese companies are innovative. And if you think about a copy innovation, is Hyundai, right? They look at Mercedes and next day they'll build exactly the same look, feel, they give the same thing, and they come out. So there are so many different ways you think about, and you want to think which part of innovation are you? There's a process innovation. There is strategic innovation. Is process innovation is you have existing process. You know that if they're hindering your growth, you change the process. So for example, you're doing everything a handwriting, you might get an automated system. But strategic innovation is expecting what's going to be in 10 years from now, and you start now. It's not going to be useful anything today. It's going to be when everything will evolve there. You're the first one out there. You'll be the one that's going to hit the market. So the strategic innovation is your biggest investment. Even like we don't even spend money on strategic innovation. We're not that big. We have to spend that staff and that much money to be so strategic. But we are 2-3 years ahead. We anticipate this is what technology is going to go on. The whole it's now not about just a lot of companies have their IT is here and the marketing here. They think this IT is back in retail and they'll fix and no, if the IT is not strategic, your company is going to fail. There's no doubt about it. Because, for example, Hilton is so strategic with their IT. I mean, their IT people are always in Washington, the directors and everybody. My friend is a director of innovation in IT. He's in Washington with the vice presidents and with the president and everybody. Especially that's what all these private acquisition companies do. They quickly innovate very quickly and they'll put everything pretty good and then they'll go back into public and they make all their money there. I think they were bought for like 500 million or 250 million. They'll probably go out and sell it for $1 billion. When they get it into private equity, they can do whatever they want. They can take out people. They fired, not laid off like 2,000 people. Hilton came in to reduce the cost, and then they bought guy from Expedia or PayPal or somebody to run 30-year-old. He's the CEO. They bring in that kind of blood and then they'll get everything together and then they'll go out. That's pretty much most of the private equity companies do. So you got like small, big, large, any company has to be innovative. There is no excuse for not being innovative.
So how do you make that efficient for, say, a sole proprietor or somebody who's doing everything? How do you make that whole process more efficient for those little guys?
So, I mean, the process is same, right? It's the resources. You need to set up the resources, right? So if one person, if they can do it, they should be able to do it. But I don't see anybody can do with one person if they really want to grow.
Is there an app or something that sounds to me like the business canvas that you use helps people organize those thoughts out of their head, get it on paper, and that is a roadmap or a
It's a
guideline
roadmap.
to get
It's exactly
to
a
the next
roadmap.
level. And so that is that something that can be offered?
The roadmap itself. is
Yeah, the
kind of what I
roadmap
think
map,
we should
is that something that's that you offer?
Yeah, we do that. That's
On
exactly
a
what we do.
complimentary basis for people to
Most
give
of the
feedback
small
to you,
businesses
or-
I do, like when I sit with them for a couple of hours and I do it for free.
Okay, so you
Sign
work
me
with
up.
them to do it as opposed to.
I mean, if you're really interested in that, that could be the next one we can do.
Oh,
That's
that's
great.
great.
That would
We
be
Next
can,
super.
thing
we
you're
can
on
do.
web.
We will take
Yeah.
like we can choose one of your companies
Well,
and we will do one.
and a suggestion is that you have some minimum benchmark
Yeah.
so that people have to do at least a certain core amount of work on their own, because otherwise you're going to be inundated with
Look, the way
people
we
who
need to
maybe
do-
cannot get to
Yeah.
that next
What
level
we'll
because
do
they
is
can't get it
we'll
out.
make one company complimentary. We'll do for that company. We'll do that.
Okay, so let's do
Right.
business over
And-
coffee.
Yeah, and then what we will do is that will give when we are writing that we're going to talk about why we are putting this. So every company knows what they need to put in their own
Awesome.
That's
thing.
great.
And what we can do is after I finish that, the next thing people can send me their own, and I can
Yes,
sit one on one
yes.
with that company
Mhm.
and tell them, okay,
Mhm.
this is what I think, the feedback,
Awesome.
and can give them
Okay.
feedback.
That's one of the things that we have on our site that you offer
Yeah,
to
I mean,
our
I can
professional
do
members.
for all
Free
of the.
sit-down consultations.
But
Wow.
what business over coffee needs to be is the winner
Yeah.
in that circle.
Mhm.
And the winner means that you make money at what you do, and it's because you've used this process
Mhm.
to organize all of your thoughts
Mhm.
and revamp all of your processes so it's very efficient, very effective,
Right.
and you can do that. And then that becomes a testimony for each of us.
Right.
And
And
also
so
that's
that's
your
a win-win.
business, that's the
Absolutely.
business
That's the
plan. So
business-
she's going
that's-
into
yeah.
that direction, so
Yeah.
it all fits
That's
hand
right.
in
Yeah.
hand.
That's
That
right.
is the business plan.
Mhm. So what you're saying, Sridhar, is that next Weave Your Own Web, which is the second Thursday of each month, and you're doing that during our Bringing
Yeah.
Everyone Together campaign, you're going to do this model, what's it called?
Business
Canvas?
model
Business
canvas.
model canvas. And we're going to focus on business over coffee, but everybody that comes is going to have their own canvas to work their own business,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, but you
So
keep
each
it. Don't
person's
write
gonna
your
be
own
working
business at
their
that
own
time. Let's
business.
all work together for one business.
Yes.
Let's
Mhm.
put our ideas to
Mhm.
one business.
So
which
we're
is
gonna
be
work with
business over
you.
coffee.
We're gonna
That's good.
Sherry,
Great
we're
idea.
gonna work with you. We're
But
each
you
gonna
will
work
know
with you
how
to
to
do
write
that.
that whole thing, how to make that, and
So
then
that's the
what we will do
benefit
is
for
Mhm.
everybody
go back
coming
It's gonna
here
benefit
and
each
you
of
learn
your
how
own
to do it
business.
Yes.
for your own business as
Yes,
well.
and then we can sit, and then you can schedule a time frame with me, and we can go an hour,
Excellent.
1 hour
Yeah.
each of you, and then we can do it. And then that's I do that all the time for
Okay,
all the people.
awesome.
So
That's
that's
awesome.
So we're really
It is.
all brainstorming for business over
Right.
coffee.
but
Right.
yeah, that's going to be the next
That's great.
workshop.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Yes.
But that gives you
So that
of
when
how
I'm
you can do
successful,
for
you're
your own
successful,
business,
you meet
and
more
then fill
people
it out for
as
you
well.
your business.
So it all comes down to having a good business plan at the start.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Good
mean,
strategy.
business plan. Yeah, I mean, I don't write business. Like I said, for me, it's visual, so I put
Yes.
this canvas. That's it.
Right.
But what
I'm
if
visual
if you
too.
could maybe share with me that your model, because that will
Break
help
down
me
who
connect
wants it.
with how you think.
Mhm.
Because right now, the way I think is traditional, 8 to 10 core components of the business plan. It's mostly text. It's not very visual, although some components are like the flow charts,
Yeah.
or the organizational chart, but it's not very visual.
You still do business plans if you want to get investment.
But I want,
Because investors want business plan.
but integrating into what you're talking about is very powerful because that takes you into the content
Yeah.
management and the online strategies
Yeah.
that every business is going to need anyway.
Yeah.
And so
That's right.
instead of all
What
this
we will do is while
rework,
we are doing for coffee, business or coffee, I will come up with examples of how, like for example, how
Mhm.
we versus Xbox did,
Mhm.
Mhm.
right?
Uh-huh.
So we will know how people are thinking.
Sure.
What was their thought behind it?
Right.
So, for example, if you think, how do they make their money, right? So, who are the people that are spending on that? So, there's for we to be successful, there should be people that build games. There should be people that play games. So, there are two different audience for them.
Mhm.
How are they creating that platform for both of them? What is the value they're offering for me to buy we? But as a gamer, why you need to put your games in?
This is a reality
Mhm.
business canvas for business over coffee. This can be a reality show.
We could call it a reality show and have a lot of
I mean, it's
virtuals as well.
Mhm. But we want to focus,
That's-
but we don't want to get too far. We
wanna
want to
stay
focus
focused
on
on you
business over
and
coffee,
business
making
over
money.
coffee.
That's the goal.
Right.
And so
Right.
so we're going to use his canvas model
Right.
to do that and help us think about you. That's the
Right.
so you stop thinking about all of us.
Right.
That's kind
But
of the,
to get the crowd here, they
Oh,
have to have a vested interest.
they have to have
So
an
their
invested
interest is their business, right?
Right
Right.
now, their vested interest is in you because we're all part of you.
Well,
That's
yes,
why
your
peop-
membership is
And that's
going to
all
grow.
you want. That's
But we
all
will
you
learn
want
by
right
building
now.
her
Yeah,
business.
that's all you want right now, and it
This
might
is my new
be.
business advisor. She's trying to get me to
Yeah.
think of
Well-
myself instead
No,
of
like,
the
no,
other
I mean,
business
that's the whole
advisor.
point. Is next one is to developing your business model.
Yeah.
Everybody does,
Yeah.
Okay, any questions? Any more
Awesome.
questions? I know you have
Thank
to
you.
Yeah.
go. So, did everyone get Sridhar's business card?
I only had 2 today.
Oh my.
We're going around
Yeah.
and
I
put
have
in
it
our,
on email.
Yeah.
in our
Yes.
names and
Okay.
emails.
Good deal.
So,
And we're going to go ahead and go off the air. And then Sridhar, I need to get with you and
Okay.
set an appointment.